Well, this is a heads up for folks all across the country because it seems that when people are not paying attention, if they can creep up in your backyard and they deem it a good spot to bury nuclear waste, they're going to do so. Now, what they've been trying to do for some time is bury it in all these different places across the country, and we've seen disaster after disaster. The WIPP facility in New Mexico is a prime example of what they say is going to be a solid facility that's going to last for decades or hundreds of years, and it didn't even last a decade. And they still are not talking about that issue. But what we have here now is the Energy Department considering burying nuclear waste in these 3-mile deep holes. Now, originally, they had this 5-year borehole project set up to go down in North Dakota. But the people stood up and opposed it en masse. They say it should be a statewide decision, and they were wanting more time to look into it. Well, the Department of Energy doesn't like it when people take the time to look into things because it usually doesn't go their way once that happens. They like to blindside them, get in there, get what they want without anyone realizing what's going on. And what they want to do here, 20 miles from the Canadian border, on 20 acres near Rugby in North Dakota, is drill these holes. And they say because this area is not prone to earthquakes. So it's moved on. And where's it going? West Texas and New Mexico. I mean, we've already have Los Alamos, everything we've talked about, the history there, everything buried out there. I mean, they're picking these sites, and there's going to be consequences for it in the future. In between New Mexico and Texas already, it looks like they have their sights set on that area. I hope people are paying attention, because if you don't rise up and say something like these people in North Dakota are doing, they're just going to come in and implement their plan. Now, this is the part where everything starts to get shook up, because not far from where they are planning this in North Dakota, if it goes down, is areas that will be earthquake prone. And the reason I say that they will be is because there's massive fracking going on all over the place up here. Okay, not in this specific spot. That's why they chose it. But if you've learned anything from the fracking swarms, the quake swarms in Oklahoma, they're from fracking. It's no secret. Over the past couple years, when we first started to come out and say this, they were like, oh, no, you have no proof of that. Oh, really? I think it's 1 + 1 = 2 here. It's pretty obvious you guys are messing with the earth, and all of a sudden, it's quaking. And they just want you to think that you're the stupid one. It's a conspiracy theory, is what they wanted to label it. Just like the chemtrails, until a scientist admitted that that's exactly what they were by name. And they had no choice but to start to admit that the fracking was causing these earthquakes, because there was no other reason behind it, especially in Oklahoma. So what have they done now? They have admitted this. It is connected. Now, they don't want to go into the details of how much it's connected, but it has everything to do with it. And my point here is, if these guys think that they're going to go drilling 3 miles deep to bury nuclear waste up in an area less than 100 miles or so away from where they're fracking, I'm telling you now, it will only be a matter of time before something bad happens. Quakes are felt for hundreds of miles. All there has to be is one big quake set off, or swarms start in motion like we're seeing in Oklahoma. If they start to happen in North Dakota, how are you going to stop it? You can't. The only way you can stop it is to stop the fracking and hope you haven't done enough damage to where something's coming down the pike that you cannot stop. Anyhow, I just wanted to alert people, New Mexico, Texas, they're looking your way now. If they can't get in here, up here in North Dakota, close to the border, out in an area where there's not a lot of people, they're going to try to bury it where they can. So I'll leave a link with more information. Continue to keep you guys updated with more information as I come across it, as always. But it's up to the people to stand up in opposition against these things in your towns and in your cities, or else they're going to come in and implement their plans. Pay off a couple people, and they have it their way. It's been Dabu 7.